Before I get into this video, as you can see, you probably clicked on the title. I am not here to diss any specific religion. This is going to be a video on why I am not religious myself and why I do not currently believe in a singular or one God. Okay, I respect all religions. It is your own individual belief that you are allowed to have, and I respect your belief, and I think that religion serves a very good purpose in society. However, I am going to be, giving a list of reasons followed by explanations of why I personally have fallen out of faith and also am no longer religious whatsoever. To start off, I wanted to say that I have not been Christian self-identifying since 2021, just about. So it's been, 4-ish years, but it was a slow decline for the last few. I also want to say I was not a very practicing Christian. I was not somebody that went to church all the time. I did, however, go to a Christian high school, and I did go to college, which I graduated last year, for philosophy and religion. The first year I was doing exercise science, but ended up switching because I loved learning about philosophy and theology, which is the study of religion. And it's a topic that I find fascinating. It's why I even have this channel to begin with, is because even if I am not religious, I still find these topics to be very important to me, and I do want to find answers myself, which is why I love talking about this stuff, because I love reasoning about these things and hearing other people's perspectives, which can help shape my own. Now, I went to a Catholic high school from 2016 to 2020, and I did philosophy and theological studies 2021 to 2024. First year I was doing exercise science. But the start of my decline in believing in, religion as a whole started when I was in high school, probably around sophomore year. Every year we had to take theology classes as a part of being, in a Christian high school. You had to learn about Christianity, regardless of whether or not you were a Christian. There were people that were Jewish, Muslim, and every, religion on the face of the earth, not really, but a lot of religions that weren't Christianity. People went to these schools. You still had to take Christian theology classes because you were a part of the school. Now, the first year, you just have an overlay of the religion, kind of stuff that everybody has heard of if you've lived in the United States, because the US is, primarily Christian religiously. So nothing really sparked my, philosophical thought there. It was just kind of an overview of the religion. When I started taking sacred scriptures in sophomore year, I began to disagree with a lot of the things that the Catholic faith had. A lot of the interpretations they had on specific scriptures, I did not agree with what the priest was trying to tell me on what that specific text said. Now, that didn't really, bring me down a rabbit hole until junior year, when I took morality and sacraments. And now morality is one of the, most fascinating topics to me in the philosophical or theological world, on what is right or wrong. And a lot of the things that we talked about, I did not agree with what the church stood for. And it wasn't even necessarily every single thing that I could nitpick that they would say. It was more so the idea that they broadcasted, and many religions do this, you broadcast your religion as the universal objective morals that humans have to live. And I didn't see morality as that. And this is even what I wrote my senior paper on in college, was that I think that morality is individually objective, right? It is true to you, but it is universally subjective. What I believe is going to be drastically different from what you believe. And to say that one is true and the definitive belief set that we all have to live by is not something that I can get behind. Now, that's not me throwing morality to the side. I'm not saying that right and wrong doesn't matter. It really does. It is something that is needed for societies to function. But morality is what I would say, Friedrich Nietzsche would say, is a necessary illusion. It is something that we need for a society to function, but it is not something that is definitively true on a universal set. Morality only applies to humans, and I believe that it was made by humans. It's not something that is going to apply to aliens or any other species. It is only something that we as an individual species care about. And that brings me to more a scientific thing, but the idea of holding humans higher than other species really bothers me. I understand we are smarter and we're more capable of, communicating and achieving progress within the world rather than a deer that just lives in the woods. But to say that we on God's viewpoint, are better and handpicked to be the one animal that is going to go to heaven and be the one that's going to be judged and go through all of these different things is illogical to me. This goes down to whether or not you believe in evolution, but to say that we, a species that evolved from random mammals that lived in holes during the dinosaur age and slowly became, more intelligible, had a larger brain capacity, more neuroconnections, got lucky with fire, were able to eat food quicker, communicate with each other because of our easy tongue and mouth biology or anatomy, where we're able to communicate with each other and then share knowledge through generations. Yes, we get more intelligent and we are better than other species, but that doesn't mean that we are handpicked by God. That means we got fucking lucky, is how I see it. Another thing is the belief in a soul. I don't think I have anything that transcends beyond death, right? Which is another reason why, if you watch my streams, I like the idea of Buddhism's nirvana. Now, Buddhism does believe that you do reincarnate in different realms of existence, but the idea of not existing is something that I can really get behind because that's what I think is going to happen. I think that when I die and my lights turn off and my eyes close or my eyes keep open and they don't blink again because I'm dead, I don't think there's anything after that. I don't think there's any part of me that exists within me that will transcend beyond my physical being, because all I think that I am is a physical being. Now, I do exist and I have thoughts and I can contemplate and reason, which is fascinating, and a lot of other animals can't do that. But just because we can doesn't mean that we have something that transcends us beyond death. All matter will be transformed. It can't be destroyed, and that's a big reasoning that people use to, say that there is a part of us that will go beyond death, because matter can't be created or destroyed. It can only be transformed. But I think my matter and me will just be transformed into dust. I don't think that any part of me will be moved to another plane of existence, if that makes sense. Another big reason why I kind of fell out of religion, and more Christianity specifically, was the idea of heaven and hell. I don't like that hell exists. I think that it is a means to deter people from doing bad, not necessarily fear-mongering, but it puts the fear of God in your eyes so that you act correctly. And that has a good result in that people will act correctly, but they do the right thing for the wrong reason. This goes back to the show The Good Place, if you've ever seen that. There is somebody in that show that ends up going to hell because they did great things in their life, but they did them to make themselves seem better. They did it to help themselves and have other people view them as good, and possibly even make themselves feel good enough to get into heaven. Now, I don't think that the majority of Christians act that way, but there are people that do things out of fear of punishment. And that goes back to the origin of morality too, where people did feel guilty for things they did badly before religion was or Christianity specifically was very big, because you feared what would happen to you if you did things that didn't follow the universal or majority rule set. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say hell and heaven are different from how most people perceive them. Hell is not just an eternal burning. It's more generally a lack of God. You are not with God. You are in a place that God is not, and heaven is the opposite. Conversely, I know also people would probably say that to get into heaven and not go to hell, you have to accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior. The other problem that I have with that is that I physically cannot do that. And so it annoys me that people will say I will burn in hell or I will go to hell because I cannot accept Jesus. The logical, reasonable being that I am, right? I'm not saying that other people aren't, but I'm saying the way my mind processes is that I have to reason that something exists and I can't disprove it within my own mind for me to believe it. And I don't even know what I believe in a lot of ways, because any opinion that I arrive on, I will immediately try to disprove. I play devil's advocate in every single thing that I ever try to think. And so if I ever believe something, the next day I might not, because I'll find something that makes me not believe in it. And that goes back to the idea of faith, where you're supposed to have the strong belief in God or the doctrines of a religion based on spiritual apprehension rather than proof. But I can't do that. I can't believe in, I wish I could, right? I have a lot of people in my stream and in YouTube comments, blah, blah, blah. Whenever they hear that I'm not Christian, fell out of Christianity, or just am not religious in general, oh, you should just believe in it. I don't want to be a fucking dickhead here, but do you realize what you're saying is illogical? Just believe in it. I can't. I physically can't. I am jealous of people that have religious belief because you can just believe in it, right? I'm not dissing you. I'm not saying that you're dumb or anything. I'm jealous of you that you're able to sit down and believe in something without physical or reasonable proof of it being real, right? I understand Jesus existed, and they told us in high school he was one of the 3 L's, Lord, liar, or lunatic. Regardless, I don't even know if he was any of those, right? To say that he was Lord, liar, and lunatic. People may have just misinterpreted him, right? The Bible has been translated so many times. It was made thousands of years ago. To say what Jesus said is still in existence today, may that be true? I don't know. I know there's going to be a lot of people in the comments that try to disprove every single thing I say here to prove their own specific belief, but I will always have something to rebut you that makes me, not you, wrong, but it makes me not believe in what you're saying. That is a big problem for me. It's another reason why I love philosophy, because there are Christian philosophers that try to prove God's existence a priori, right? Without previous knowledge, without previous biases, they try to prove the existence of a God, or of just any God for that matter, without a religious text. And that's what I love the most, right? That's why I love philosophy. I love the subjectivity of it, and I love the reason-based proof. I don't like having a conversation with someone where they try to prove the existence of God with the Bible. It's a circular argument. To tell somebody like me that doesn't believe in a religion that you're going to prove your religion with your religious text is illogical, because if I don't believe in your religion, I therefore don't believe in your religious text. So how are you going to then tell me that this is real because of this when I don't believe in either of them? And this kind of delves into the 2 types of religious people that you'll see in life, right? And I know I'm getting off topic here on why I don't believe in God, but this is what I'm getting into. There are religious people that believe in their religious text, whatever it may be, because they have read it, they have reasoned about it, they have confirmed that reasoning, and it coincides with the text, right? They have done the work in their mind, they have gone through the mental hoops, and they have derived that their religious text is correct. I have nothing wrong with that. The problem I have is that there are people that believe in whatever religious text because they believe in it. They have never gone through the hoops of proving or trying to disprove it so they could be fully ingrained in it. They just believe it. And I understand that's faith, and at the end of the day, both of them are faith. But one is faith guided by reason and confirmation of their own beliefs, and the other is blind faith. And I don't like the latter, right? I don't like believing in something to believe in it. And that's how I was. And I tried to prove Christianity in a reason-based argument for myself, because that's obviously what I was. And it didn't loop back, right? It didn't come back. I just did not believe in it for obviously a lot of the reasons that I've just previously said. And a big reason that I didn't get out of it for so long was because I was afraid of hell, if I'm being honest. That was, and I don't know if people relate to that, but I wanted to believe in God because I thought that if I didn't, I was a bad person. And obviously everybody's done, wrong things within their life, and there's things that you need to obviously sit and reflect on. And that goes back to another thing of the idea of confession. Now, this doesn't exist in every denomination of Christianity, but in Catholicism it does. The idea of going to a priest, confessing your sins, and then listening to them on what you should do to resolve yourself of those sins. I didn't like that as well because it motivates people to not feel bad about their things, right? There are things that they have done wrong. I believe that when you do something wrong, you should sit and rot in it. You should have to live in that because that makes you a better person, right? For me to be able to go to a priest, say I'm sorry, right? Him to give me a bunch of things that I need to say, and then me to be absolved and not have to worry about it anymore is something that I don't like. And now the faith itself does say that you actually have to be sorry for those things. You can't just say you're sorry and then, go through these processes and then you're cleared. Similarly to how I could say I believe in Jesus, but if I don't actually believe that Jesus is the Lord and Savior, then I'm not going to heaven. And those two things I didn't like because I understand I have free will, but I don't have freedom of choice. I cannot choose to believe in God. I have tried. It is, and I feel like so many people that I talk to are just believe in it because from their own personal perspective, that's what they've done, right? And it's worked for them. But for somebody from my point of view, I can't just believe in God because it doesn't make sense to me. Not saying that I don't understand it. I had to take 4 years of college classes, 4 years of high school theology classes about this. I just don't believe it. I don't believe in it. I also think religion is innately human-made. And this is one of the big reasons why I'm not religious, is because I think that people and early humans needed ways to understand the world around them with the lack of scientific and generational knowledge that they did not have on hand. If you're one of the early humans thousands of years ago and nothing makes sense to you, the easiest way to be safe in your curiosity and not let the world's confusion consume you is to say, God created it, or this God created it, right? Even if you're not just a singular God, you could go into Greek mythology or Hinduism and there's multiple gods that control and are the reason for definitive things existing, right? And it really makes those beliefs, or not really makes those beliefs, it makes those I don't want to say people in your head, but the confusion that goes on when you don't understand something as a human consumes you. And having God to turn to explain those things when you don't actually understand the answer makes things feel a lot better, right? The God of the gaps, as they would call it. But as we go throughout the world, right, as we've gone through history, more and more things are no longer, this is God, it's an explainable thing that we previously didn't understand. I think humans are innately self-criticizing. Your biggest critic is yourself, people always say, and I think that's true. I think you will beat yourself up more than any other person could ever beat you up, right? Not physically, but mentally. And part of the problem with that is that if you look at individuals that achieve specific successes, right, a lot of the time they attribute the bad things and the small things that they accomplish, right, or do wrong to themselves, and the things that they achieve greatly to God, right? And I think it removes the success that you need to live in, right? It removes that, hey, you earned that, right? Like, at the end of the day, you can thank God, but at the end of the day, thank yourself as well. You are strong. To say that you're weak-minded and you have to attribute every single thing that you accomplish to God, I can't do that, right? That's another thing. Like as stupid as it fucking is, I was not the greatest track runner in high school, but when I ran track in high school, there was times that I would win events. There was times that I made it to nationals, and I'm not sitting there. I wore the cross at the time, right? I was a Christian then. I wasn't sitting there going, oh, God let me win this event. I was going, I did this, right? It took me a year of practice, weightlifting, running, conditioning, eating well to be able to fucking compete and do this. I can't attribute that to somebody else other than myself. And again, I need to say, I'm not dissing anybody for any religious faith that you may have. I respect every religion. This is not a criticism of Christianity. It is why I cannot agree with it. Every faith has their own role, and every faith isn't for everybody. That's why there are so many religions in the world, is because there are so many different beliefs that people fall into, and maybe they fall into none of them, right? I'm one of them. But I think I need to reiterate, like, I think that religion has a genuine purpose. I think people need something to fall into that can explain the world around them and give them guidelines on how to be good. And I think that religion serves a great purpose in that. But I am not somebody that has that. I don't want somebody to tell me, I wish somebody could tell me why I'm here, right? Why I exist, what this world even is around me, why I'm a human, what a fucking human even is, what are the words that are even coming out of my mouth. But anybody that tries to give me that answer, I'll find 45 reasons why I think you're wrong. Not that I'm right, but why I can't believe in what you're telling me. And so it's easier for me, as hard as this is, for me to kind of just figure out that path and my own individual purpose in life rather than have somebody tell it to me. Because whatever they tell me it is, I'm going to not believe it, and I'm probably going to go in the opposite direction. And it's hard, man. Like, I don't want to say I have anxiety attacks, bro, but it's this heart-wrenching feeling knowing that I'm going to fucking cease to exist. And it's the most confusing thing in the world. I just made a video about how I don't recognize myself at times. I think that religion keeps you molded together, right? I think it keeps you locked in, right? But when you're not religious, I think all of those random fucking questions about life in the universe are going to start chiming into your own brain, and they're going to eat you up. You're probably never going to have an answer for a lot of those things, but none of the answers that are currently available satisfy me. I don't believe that any of them are right, and so I would rather live a life knowing that I know nothing than believe in something that I truly don't believe in. And I think that kind of summarizes why I there's probably other reasons, right? This is why I also, the rants are hard because I'm so used to streaming. I'm a very reactive, riffing person, and having people kind of question and throw things back at me really makes it easier for me to like remember specific reasons, because I just listed fucking 10, but there's probably 5, 10 other reasons or other things that I could say, or I could maybe expound upon things better. But I'm obviously alone sitting in a room right now talking about this, so it is pretty hard. And I also want to say, I know people are going to get mad, and that's fine, right? People get upset when their beliefs are challenged. But I want to let you know that I'm not challenging your belief. I'm just explaining why I don't believe in what you believe in. Some of you guys might have the same, opinion as me. A lot of people might have the opposite, similar in different ways. But I want you to know, I genuinely do believe that religion has a purpose, right? I think it is needed for a lot of people. It's just not for me. And I know there's going to be a million comments that are going to tell me that I need to turn to this God or this God or this religion, because it's going to give me the answers. I can tell you that I would say that it's not. I'm obviously only 23. There's still a lot that I need to learn. I love reading philosophy. I love learning about different religions. But in my, path of, finding myself would be a better term. In my path of finding myself, I've kind of arrived on the opinion that, number one, the self is fucking up in the air. No idea who I am, right? Outside of a fucking thinking thing that doesn't understand anything. And two, I have not and likely will not know or believe in any specific thing before I die. Right? I obviously have no idea. Hopefully I'll live a long life. Maybe I'll find something. But I think 50 years from now, if I'm still alive, I will likely have just a different morphed opinion that is very similar to the opinion that I'm sharing now. I've kind of just accepted the fact that, not accepted it, but I've kind of come to recognize that I think there will be nothing after I die. I think life will make no sense. I will live a random, confusing life on this earth, and I'll die. The only thing that I understand and can recognize is that I should be good to those around me, because other people are going through the same exact thing that I am, and every one of us, in my opinion, will live one short life, and we might as well be kind to the people around us so they can live the best one life that they will ever live, just like mine. Now, will I be reincarnated? Will there be an afterlife? Will there be another dimension that I warp into when I die? I have no fucking clue. But I can say that the only thing that I need to do in this life is be good to those around me and just live. Right. And obviously, I do want to question these things, and I think I will continue to do so. But I also want to say, for the people that are dealing with the same thing that I am or struggle with their belief, don't let it fucking eat you alive. Think about it, but don't let it consume every day. Right. I think about it every day, but not all day. Right. If you're sitting there for 6 hours a day, just fucking dwelling on life and sitting confused, you're going to give yourself anxiety. You're going to freak yourself out. You're going to make yourself depressed. It's not good, right? I'm not saying don't think about it. I'm saying in small amounts. You know, at the end of the day, you gotta return to the simulation at times. You gotta just fucking live your life, because if you look back and the only thing that you were ever doing was sitting confused about the life you're living, you never lived in the first place. So yeah, I don't know. I don't really know how to end this video. You know, let me know if you have any questions in the comments. I might make a follow-up video kind of answering some of these or something of those sorts. If you have any other philosophy rants that you want me to fucking make, feel free to do so. This is probably a really long video all over the place. I don't know if I made any sense. I genuinely did not mean to offend anybody as well. I just want to preface that because I know something. The two big things that people hold near and dear to themselves is religion and politics. And they get really upset if you not necessarily attack their beliefs, but disagree, because I think religion is a definitive thing that defines someone's personality in their own self. And so when I sit there and go, I don't really believe in that, you may take it as an attack to you. But I really need you to know that this is just me trying to explain my own belief set. I'm not attacking your belief. I'm just saying why I don't think that I can believe in it. Right? So, yeah. Outside of that, appreciate y'all. I'll see you in the next one.